Thank you, Peter. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Football Australia's headquarters. I'd like to acknowledge our chair, Mr. Anter Isaac. As we promised when we convened last week, we're very excited to convene with you all again today for what is a significant moment for Australian football. This is a significant moment for Australian football because we are confirming the appointment of Tony Popovic as the head coach of the Socceroos. Tony will take charge of the team immediately. He's already preparing, he's getting focused for the next Socceroos match, which will be played on the 10th of October in Adelaide against China. Tony's appointment is till the end of the Men's World Cup in North America in 2026. As we indicated last week, we were going to move swiftly and appoint a permanent head coach. And the rationale behind doing this is we wanted to ensure that the team, the players, the staff, the organisation and the country had certainty and clarity going into the next window. We also wanted to make the appointment early because we wanted to give Popper as much time to prepare for China as we possibly could in the circumstances. Popper has a well-respected status in Australian football. As a coach, he's tactically astute. He's the first of the golden generation to take the reins as the head coach of the Socceroos. He understands Australian football very well, he understands the players very well, and importantly, he understands the Socceroos ethos. Popper has had many great achievements as a coach. He's won 2 A-League premierships, he's won the Australia Cup, he's won the Asian Champions League, and was also the AFC Coach of the Year. Importantly for our campaign, we believe that Tony understands how to navigate through complex Asian competitions. We are extremely excited by the appointment of Popper. I want to reiterate, as I said on Friday, we're excited about the new chapter for Australian football and the Socceroos in the appointment of Tony. We have every bit of confidence that Tony will succeed and the team will succeed under the leadership of Tony. And we thank Tony for accepting the offer to coach the Socceroos. I want to wish you, on behalf of Football Australia, all the very best. And just want to let you know that we believe in you, Popper. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, James. I'd like to now throw over to Tony Popovic to say a few words.
Thank you. Firstly, great honour to be sitting here. I don't think you'd expect me to say anything different. Coaching the Socceroos is, probably a dream come true as a coach. You never know if it will pop up or if the timing is right. But I'm extremely honoured, proud. Obviously, want to thank the FA for having the trust in me, in my abilities to take on such a role. I understand the responsibility that's required and the expectation of everyone in this room, also the fans and the players, which ultimately are the ones that will get us to where we want to be. And I'm honoured to lead them. I look forward to the challenge. I'm excited by it. The Socceroos are in a good position. We've had some great success recently at the World Cup. This campaign hasn't started the best, but I know there's enough time, there are enough games, and we should really be aiming for that top spot to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. We'll now open the floor to questions, but just as we usually do, if we can, one question, one follow-up question will go around the room. We'll do it first from the people in the room, and then we'll go to the people joining us via Zoom. So,
Tony, congratulations.
Thank you.
There's not much time before the game against China. Will there be like an informal or formal handover from Arnie to you, and how much will he be drawing on his input for that game?
No. I think from today, this announcement, this press conference. I understand there is a lot of work to do, but we'll go away and plan very quickly on what's required in terms of selecting the players, for this very important match against China. So that'll be the sole focus, seeing who's fit, seeing who's available, having a look at players that haven't been selected thus far to see whether they can come in and give them an opportunity, if they are match fit, if they are fit enough to make a contribution, and that'll be the focus immediately.
Tony, David Mark from the ABC. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Firstly, obviously, it's an incredibly different job to coaching a club team, coaching the national team. And it was a job that frustrated Graham Arnold, particularly the lack of time he got to spend with the squad. So a couple of questions. What attracted you to that sort of coaching, and how do you think you're going to deal with those frustrations of just not having the players for very long before crucial matches?
Well, I understand what the role entails, and I understand that that comes with the territory of having this position. You don't have time to train the players. You don't have time to really instill a type of style or philosophy over training sessions, but you do have time in terms of the communication you have with the players, the video analysis. Detail becomes very important. The 1 or 2 sessions that you have, you can't waste any. So I understand it's a different situation for me. I'll also have to adapt, but I love a big challenge, and this is obviously the ultimate challenge, and I'm excited by it. So I just can't wait to get started.
James, can I ask you, when did you first approach Tony about this job? Because it's obviously happened very quickly. Is this something that's been in the wind for some time?
No, look. We're always keeping up to date with the market. We understand the market, but in terms of our conversations with Tony, they happened early last week after we'd had a conversation with Graham.
Thank you. Over to George Clark.
Tony, George Clark, AAP. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can I ask, where were you? Were you on a beach? Were you doing your groceries when you got the call?
I was actually at home with my son. We're just at home doing father and son activities, and then I got the call. So it's all happened very quickly.
I'm right in saying you've been based in Europe. Is that
Yes.
correct? Since Victory job, how do you see yourself splitting the time between being there and being here? How's that work for you?
No, I'll be based here now.
Okay.
I'll be based here, and that's all part of this job that we do. And look, there are only positive thoughts for me at the moment, and I know that won't change. I know as I said, it's an honour to have the job. I know what we need to do. I know what we want to achieve, and we've got to start that journey straight away in Adelaide against China.
Tony, what made you want to accept this at this particular juncture? I know you said they don't come along every time. The Socceroos gig's not always going to be available, but it's not the easiest time to take over either from a Socceroos management perspective.
No, it's the best time. It's the best time to take it. Why wouldn't it be a good time?
Well, just with the results that you've had so far in the camp.
That happens. That's football. Okay, so results can sometimes mask when something's good as well. The results haven't been good in the first 2 games, but look at the history of what's been done with the Socceroos. Have a look at the World Cup. Have a look at a fantastic group of players that did remarkable things over there. A lot of those players are still there, so the talent remains, and a lot of young players have come through. And there are probably a lot of other players that are waiting for their opportunity. When you say Socceroos' job doesn't come around often, 5 years ago I wasn't ready for this role. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have looked at this role. I'm ready. I want this job. So I'm here because I want to be here.
What did you see in those first 2 qualifiers from a coach's perspective that you look at and go, okay, if I was to be doing it, I'm sure you might have gone back in your head since you've got the role. What did you see?
I only watched them over the weekend, to be honest, the games. So I didn't get a chance to see them live from Croatia. Look, the team maybe looked a little bit flat. That can happen in games. It's not the first team that happens to. But, there are obviously some areas there that I believe we can improve. And that's talking from the back to the front. Maybe we can be a little bit more dynamic. We can move the ball quicker. We can get more players in the box. But these are things that they were doing, which brought a lot of success. But the last 2 games, there wasn't a lot of evidence of that, and I'm sure we can get that back and do it even better moving forward.
Thank you. Vince Regard.
Thanks. Congratulations, Tony.
Thank you, Vince.
What are your intentions in terms of staff? Obviously, there's some leftovers from Graham's reign. Will you look to bring in your own people?
That's something we'll have a look at tonight, tomorrow, make an assessment on the existing staff. If people come in, it's to make the program better. It won't be a change for change's sake. Likewise with the players. If new players come in, it will be not to just give someone an opportunity. We have to honour the shirt, and there must be an expectation to play for the Socceroos. And any player, regardless of age, young or older, experienced, will all be looked at, and anyone that deserves a chance will get one.
Just on that, you mentioned earlier potentially talking to players who aren't in the squad and the environment at the moment. 2 who come to mind, I think have officially retired from international duty, Massimo Luongo and Mitch Langerak. Are they 2 players who you might seek to speak to and see if they'll reconsider those decisions?
Well, that's up to the players. If they've officially retired, then they're out of the Socceroos, aren't they? If they want to come back in, they have to make that clear that they want to play for the Socceroos, and if they make themselves available, then we can look into that.
Hi, Tony. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There's a lot of young players coming through the squad right now, including Nestor Irankunda. How excited are you to get the chance to work with him and potentially mould him into a better international player?
Yes, he's one of young players that have been given an opportunity. He started against Indonesia, which obviously would have been a fantastic moment for him. He's young, he's developing, he's improving. We hope to find more of those players, but we need them playing games. So hopefully we can get more of those players at the highest level, which gives us more possibilities to call them in, and it gives us more options as a squad.
James Dodd from the A-Leagues. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How important is it, from your perspective, that Football Australia has turned to a coach who's been coaching recently domestically? I mean, you went so close last year with Melbourne Victory. What sort of message do you think that sends to other young coaches, but also Australian football in general, that they've gone with somebody who's performed in the National League?
Yeah, that's it should be aspiration for all coaches, regardless of where they are, that the dream job can come true. And it's happened for me, and hopefully it'll happen for another young aspiring coach one day. I think ultimately it needs to be the best person for the job. If they are from Australia and in our local competition, that's a bonus, but you need to hire the best person first.
Tony, when you say you weren't ready for the role 3 to 5 years ago, what is the biggest, or what are the changes in you as a coach that makes you feel that you are ready now?
Yeah, I think experience, maturity, going through, I've had experiences at different clubs and taking them on, all in different situations, and working through that and learning, going through adversity, having some great moments. It just feels, I feel I'm ready for any challenge. And, I was always brought up that anything is possible from my parents, and I've had that as a young player, I had that as a senior player, I've had that as a coach, that anything is possible. And I always dreamed that this is maybe possible, this role, and now I'm dreaming that it's possible that we come first in the group. I'm dreaming that it's possible to do something special at the World Cup. But I also know that, dream's just one part. You've got to work, and we have to work at a standard, that elite level, that gives us the opportunity to do something special. So dreams, unfortunately, are not enough.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go online now. Joey Lynch, you're first.
Peter. Congratulations, Tony. Great to be speaking to you again.
Thank you.
We heard from James before about how you understand the ethos of the Socceroos and what it means to pull on that shirt. I'd love to hear from you in your own words what you think the ethos of the Socceroos are, what their values are.
Yeah, thank you. When I played for the Socceroos, which was very privileged to do, we always wore that shirt with the integrity, and we wore it as a privilege, as a badge of honour. We never took it for granted, and every time you got called up, it was a proud moment. And I just want to make sure that the players understand that no one is entitled to that shirt, regardless of talent, regardless of age. We need to be honoured to be wearing that shirt and to be called up for the Socceroos. And we need those values, which I know exist, can sometimes fade away or can sometimes get lost. We need to make sure that every player understands that honour is number one, to wear the shirt and wear it with pride and represent your country and your family. And make sure that that's the first part that is instilled with this group. And the second part is that we play better than the Socceroos have ever played. That's the second part of the challenge. So you've got to link the two. And if we link the two, we really, with those values, can do something special.
Thank you. And I guess my follow-up question, maybe getting into some of the things that you spoke about there, when it comes to matters of squad selection, what will you be waiting? Obviously, we've got some senior players playing in big leagues but not getting regular minutes, other players that perceived lower leagues playing regularly. How do you weight the different factors when it comes to matters of squad selection and who starts?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I'm not favouring either way in terms of that discussion. I'll have a good look at that tonight and tomorrow and make a decision. Obviously, it's a short turnaround for the selection for this camp. So we have to decide what's best to get the result for this China match and who's in the best condition, who's played the most, not just minutes, but you've got to play quality minutes too. And there are players, obviously, the A-League not having their competition, are maybe a little bit behind in terms of their conditioning, but they shouldn't be discounted either. I've seen Aziz Beige play the last couple of games, and he's from the A-League, so he doesn't have that European conditioning, and he played well in both games. So even the A-League players should all be aware and know that they could also get selected for this game.
Thanks, Joey. We'll go now to Poletti from Round Ball Australia online.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I guess my first question is, what is your relationship with Tony Popovic going to look like as you look to, work with the underage players and possibly bring them up for national team selection?
Look, I think, I played with Tony, but I think the sole focus now is the Socceroos, especially this window in November. There isn't a lot of time to prepare for those games. And then between November and March, of course, I've played for Australia, fortunately, at every single level. So I know how important the age groups are in the junior ranks and working all the way through to the Socceroos. But for now, especially October-November window, the focus will be on the Socceroos.
And then I guess looking ahead to the games against China and the games against Japan, I understand it's difficult and you haven't had a look at all the options yet, but what sort of style and tactical setup can we expect against China and Japan?
I think that's not really a discussion for today, but I can assure you there'll be a different style of play, and I expect us to be a very dynamic team come the China match.
Thank you, Poletti. We'll now go over to Tracy Holmes, the sporting ambassador, online.
Thank you. Thanks for that. Tony, congratulations.
Thank you.
I've got a question for you and then a question for James. My question to you is, are you feeling nervous in any way? I don't mean that negatively. Nerves can be a positive kind of energy. If you are feeling nervous, can you explain how different those nerves are compared to actually pulling on the Aussie jumper and playing for the Socceroos? And second to that, what do you think you can do that Graham Arnold couldn't do in order to lift this team? And then while you think about that, James, you mentioned earlier that you had a first conversation with Tony after a conversation with Graham Arnold. Was that conversation the one where Graham Arnold resigned, or was it ahead of that? Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Nerves, yes. Butterflies of excitement. I think that's probably the best way to sum it up. And, you know, I hope and expect to have these butterflies and nerves before the first match against China. That's always a positive for me when I feel that. And how I can't anticipate how I will feel as a coach standing on the sideline before my first match. It's different as a player, but I anticipate it'll be one with a lot of pride, and hopefully I can get all those sentiments in my mind out of the way, and when that whistle blows, I know I'll be fully focused on the game. So very, very excited, and I agree, I do feel those nerves. I love that feeling, and I love the fact of the responsibility that I have, that I've been trusted this way, and you know, I think exciting times ahead. So very positive.
Tracy, just to answer the second question, look, we're in the round 3 qualifiers, and you know, you've got to be prepared for any scenario. I feel that we were prepared as an organisation, coming off the back of our last window, after the conversation that we had with Graham that ultimately saw his departure. We knew who was available and we knew who wasn't. We came up with a shortlist. We spoke with several candidates, but as we did that, it became very clear who fit the description of what we wanted, and then we directly went after Tony. We got into some healthy conversations directly. We felt good about the appointment. Tony was convincing that he was the right person for the job at the right time, and that's how we got to where we are today.
Tony, can I ask a bit more about playing style? You said you don't want to give away.
James, and Tony, can I just pick up?
No,
yeah.
okay, one moment.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
Sorry. Tracy, did you finish on that point? Okay.
Yeah, I had that one question for Tony. What can you do that Graham Arnold couldn't do
sorry.
in order to lift this team?
Apologies, I didn't answer that. Different to lift the team. It's a difficult question. I think the first 2 games, obviously, the performances probably were not what everyone wanted. I'm sure the players will take responsibility for that as well. I don't think it'll take too much to change the way we play against China, but it's not so much what we do different. I think what we will do is make sure that what we do it very well. We do it with the energy, we do it with the desire, and we do it with, I believe, a speed and dynamic type of play that I think the players will enjoy, and I think we'll see the start of that progress against China, and as the games go on, I'm sure it'll get better and better.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Tony. Dave?
Yeah, I just want you to elaborate on that. You started talking about playing style. What is going to be your philosophy as coach of the Socceroos? Is it going to be a different playing style and philosophy to perhaps what you had in club football?
Yeah, I think, look, I'm very open in terms of how that can be, how that will look. Also, personnel plays a part. What are their strengths? What are their attributes? But as I said, regardless of the players that are available and the attributes that they have, you know, we will play a lot quicker than what we have recently. Obviously, we've had 2 games now where we didn't score, so that's obviously how can we create more opportunities? How can we get players in better positions? how do we find those solutions? That's obviously will be a focal point, but also we need to defend better. You know, we need to be a lot more connected as a team with and without the ball. And I think if we can work on that as a whole approach, you know, it'll be a very good starting point for us against China.
How do you think you will handle the tension that often comes with tournament football of sometimes having to be pragmatic to get a result versus having to be an entertainer in order to bring the Australian public on board?
I think the Australian public's on board. If you win, the public is on board. And then when you win, there'll always be the discussion, how can we do it better? And that's a good discussion. That's the right discussion. Okay, but we need to win. You know, Australia needs to be qualifying for World Cups. How we do that, we should look to always evolve our playing style. We should always look to improve. But qualifying is not easy. In the last 5 World Cups, how many times have we gone automatically through?
Does that mean it's okay to win ugly?
It's always okay to win ugly. It doesn't mean you can ask any coach. It's okay to win ugly. That's not to say that you're planning to play that way. When you win is actually when you should be even more detailed on how you should get better. We should look for the details when we win. I'll never be satisfied when we win and we don't play well. We'll be satisfied with the win, but we need to make sure that the style gets better. But we've seen the qualifying, as I was getting to. 2 times in the last 5, we've qualified automatic for a World Cup, which tells you something. It's not easy. It's not easy, you know, and that's the tough part. But should we not aim for first spot? No. We should always aim to be the best. So if you have that expectation of a good playing style, great. Keep asking the question. But you should also have an expectation of winning. And we should aim for the first spot. We should try and go for first and see how we go. Because we know that the qualifying is difficult. Past history tells us that. The last 2 campaigns, we had to go through a playoff. Wonderful. We qualified. Wonderful in Qatar. But right now, our focus is getting that automatic spot. And while we can do that, that's what we have to aim for.
Thank you, Tony. George Clark.
Tony, I know you're only just off a plane and you're probably jet lagged. Have you had a chance to speak to Matt Ryan as captain and also with him not playing club football regularly? Is that a concern of him remaining in that role going forward?
No, I haven't spoke to any players. As James said, this has happened so quickly, and I've just arrived. But look, he's had an amazing career, has done wonderful things for the Socceroos, played in the last 2 games, and I look forward to seeing him when he comes into camp.
Just on that whirlwind journey.
We've got any follow-ups? No, okay, over to you, sorry.
No. Like I said, contact made earlier last week. You said you're in Croatia. But can you just, how long had you been there? Then what does the last week look like? Basically, going from there to here and all the considerations of life and all that.
Yeah, it's been chaotic, but that's the life of a coach as well. But I don't see anything negative in anything that's happened for me in the last 5 days. I see it as joy, positive. I've got a lot of energy for this. I'm excited by it, and jet lag, no problem. The players have to play on a Saturday and back up on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and then fly back and perform again. So, if we expect the top standard from the players, well, they should expect their coach to be at the highest level, whether he's tired or not.
Like was mentioned before, you're part of that amazing golden generation. Some members of that generation and the one before now hold media roles and pundits and things like that. First of all, is it going to be strange for you having ex-teammates perhaps commenting on what you're doing, and have any of them contacted you already behind the scenes with a text message and some advice already?
I don't know. I haven't checked my phone since I've been here all morning, but that's, again, that's positive. If any of the past players can add value, we all want to add value. to this game, and whether that's a media role, coaching role, administrative role, we all welcome that. And you know, you don't want to just have the job for something that you've done in the past. You want to add value. So if these people are doing that, great, continue.
Thank you. Final question, Vince Regard.
Thanks. Tony, there's a view out there, I personally don't hold it, but there's a view out there that the current crop of Australian players are not that good, that essentially we don't have the cattle as a nation to play better, do better, limit our ambition. I would imagine, based on what you've said so far, that you don't agree with that view?
No, I don't. I don't agree with it. Yeah, we have good players. It's a different generation. Players that are now playing overseas. We've got young players coming through in the A-League. We exceeded expectation at the World Cup, and what follows from that is we expect more in the Asian qualifiers, and it's not a bad thing, is it? You know what I mean? And I hope you expect more from me. And I hope you sit there and you expect more. So when we win, you expect more. And I think that way, with that mindset, we have a chance to grow and get better. And I want to be at the forefront of that, and I want to lead the way where I can to make sure that our expectations remain. Challenges, yes, there are always challenges in life, and this is a challenge. And whether players are fit or not, there'll always be another player. So someone else may grab that opportunity, and it may be him that becomes the next star. So let's see what's out there.
Just finally, and I'm sure you're aware of this as well, there's a perception of you in terms of your style of coaching as well, that you're a more defensive-minded coach, according to some people. You've spoken a little bit about dynamism, quick movement, doing better in possession. I'm sure you're aware of that reputation that you hold. Do you feel that yourself is short a little bit as a coach?
To be honest, I don't read anything, and that's the honest truth. And with all due respect, I don't care too much because I know what I stand for, I know my values, I know what I can do with a group of players. I know I can improve every single player that I work with, and I have. That will continue. And I know we'll play football that everyone will enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That concludes the media conference. Thank you for your support. If the main table can stay there for a moment, I'm going to take some photos. So thank you very much.
The Socceroos are back in Adelaide. Cheer on the local heroes when Australia take our next step to World Cup qualification. Thursday, October 10th, we take on China at Adelaide Oval. Be a part of history as we look to qualify for our 6th consecutive World Cup. Search Socceroos for tickets.